Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jordan Fisher.
I'm Tim Hatman.
I'm Cypher PK, and this is the May Contain
Action podcast.
Available on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and more.
Welcome to the May Contain Action podcast, the world's #1 gaming and content creation podcast that is also hosted specifically by a Major League Baseball player and a headphone model. Support for the May Contain Action podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Woo! Introducing the host, I'm host number 2. We established that early, and we're going to stick to it. Trevor May, coming to you live from beautiful Kansas City, Missouri.
Oof.
And host number 1 is also here, Paul ActionJaxon, after winning his first game of Fall Guys.
I sure did. Hot off a win. Thank you. Round of applause. Yeah, thank you.
Hot off a dub. We are doing this at a weird random time on a day we don't usually do it.
Yep.
So here we are.
Trevor's schedule is ass.
My schedule is ass, which leads me to my next point. This is welcome to episode 41. Also, season 1 finale. Woo! As 41 is obviously the perfect number of episodes for a season.
Oh yeah, 41 is a perfect number.
And has nothing to do with the fact that next Thursdays are baseball. Next week, actually, I think.
Yeah, nothing to do with it. Totally unrelated.
But
wow, we did a whole season, dude.
We did a whole season, Dad. Actually, 41, there's 56 weeks in a year. So we were like, 9 months of straight doing episodes without taking any weeks off.
That's nuts. We took 1 week off.
Considering how long or how we didn't think we were going to get past 12 or 13.
Yeah, we couldn't get to 13, but then we were like, nah, 41. I suppose we had 41 people to talk to us that said yes. Basically.
Actually, it was more like 37.
Like 37. Still, that's impressive.
That is impressive. So, some of the things we're doing here in the interim between seasons, finding a bunch of guests and lining them up.
Yeah, that'll be helpful.
Shifting the old format around a bit, maybe. Having the good old faithful questions, but also just, maybe adding some new ones. I don't know.
I'm being told by chat, which I'm definitely not looking at, that there's 52 weeks in a year, not 56. I just agree with you. Because
I know. Right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was more than, I don't know, dude. I got to Kansas City at 2 a.m. and now I'm here doing the pod because I'm committed.
Man.
Right.
Oh, are you committed? Are you?
I'm tired. I don't want to. I have to work.
Oh my gosh. I stopped work in the middle of work to do this. So who's more committed?
You're still working. You're live. You just said the people that you work for are talking to you.
Oh yeah.
So
whatever.
Boom.
Close enough. 52 weeks in the year. You're dumb.
So we definitely got some new questions with the hashtag MCA or Ask MCA on Twitter. Some people asked some really good ones, actually. Some like, where are we going now type questions.
I love that.
And we're going to tell you who asked them, just so you know, because the format's a little confusing here because I did it on the fly. Basically, the little bold name, all the questions below that name and behind it are all from that person. So 3 people asked all these questions, basically.
Wow. Jeez.
And they're people that we know from chat, from both of our chats. And I thought they were pretty good questions to get into.
Looking forward to it.
And then we'll just get into a current event after that and go from there.
Perfect. All right. Let's start off this very chill ending to the season, which again, I had to say before we even get started here, I have truly enjoyed the podcast. It's been a highlight of my week, with the occasional stress of finding someone on the last hour. But it's been a blast. And I think it's appropriate that we do this type of ending because we're not going to top last week's podcast. It's not. It's just that's the one we probably should have ended on if we're being real.
I mean, we could have very easily, just 5 minutes ago, been like, actually, 40 was the good number.
We're going to end there. And we just gave people like a 5-minute podcast.
I mean, there's still time. This one probably isn't going to be 2 hours. I've learned my lesson after that first time we did it, when I put 25 questions thinking we just fire through them, and it took us like an hour and a half just to get through the questions.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, it's a fan service episode. Exactly. Well, I'll get started with the questions.
Coffee tastes terrible. Anyway, continue.
I'm sorry. You complain about being a Major League Baseball player. Imagine complaining about that. Am I right, Chad?
like this coffee either, dude.
Am I right? Question number 1. Why is Trevor host number 2 when it is clearly his podcast? Okay, well, this one is stupid, and I don't really want to answer it.
Just for context, there was a picture, and it was the screenshot of the actual in Apple, and it says Trevor May below the podcast. But that's just because my name is attached with hosting. The hosting profile is mine, so it just puts my name out there. I don't know why it does that.
Maybe
it's because I pay for the hosting.
It's because you pay for the hosting.
I'm sorry, Trevor. I'll throw you $5 a month to pay for the hosting. All right? Can we?
I was gonna actually say that's not enough, but actually it's kind of almost enough.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why Trevor continues to undermine the podcast in different ways. I couldn't tell you. I assume it's because he hates being a pitcher, and truly deep down, I feel like he dies a little bit every time he tweets "Go Twins." That's what I feel like. Whenever I see Trevor tweet "Go Twins," I think to myself, he's slowly passing away. He's slowly dying.
I mean, we all are,
I think that's why. Wait, I'm dying?
We all are. That.
What do they teach you?
We all are. What are they teaching you? What are they teaching you at that school? I mean, yeah, we all die eventually. What do you mean?
Wait, I'm dying? You're dying. Anyway. It's one of the best YouTube videos of all time. So yeah, that's why. That's why he's host number 2, because I chose to alpha him into host number 2, and he baited right into it. So that's what happened.
Thank you, Bruiser.
Thanks, Bruiser,
for asking that question. You guys know Bruiser. He built my website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. Wow. If you need websites, he's the guy.
Wow. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep it moving.
Yep. All right. Question number 2, also from Bruiser. What is the biggest lesson learned from season 1 that you will take into season 2 and be better at?
Ooh.
I think there's a bunch of them, obviously, but the things we can do, I think we can be a little, and I'm going to point this at myself a little bit more, be a little bit, take a few more chances, like week to week with format, like trying new things.
Yeah.
Obviously that comes down with time, to do it. And again, me with the spinning plates, I'm like, oh, that plate that's a cute plate. Let's throw that up, you know? And then I, lose track of other stuff. So, but there's that. And then I think that just having like a month's worth of guests ahead all the time, I think is something we could do really well.
Oh,
like scheduling people and then just reminding them week by week, like, hey, a couple weeks you're coming on, and give them a chance to like keep making sure that they're not double booking and stuff, because that was just that was the thing. The thing is, we're pretty flexible. This doesn't need to be done live every day. The big thing is just having the recorded version out for people by a certain time for the most part. So exactly. I think from my standpoint, I think that scheduling people earlier and just making sure you're on top of that, making that a priority, and then trying stuff in the format and things, I think we could do a little better. What about you?
I feel like I'm realizing something about the podcast, but also like myself and how we work together and all that, because I'm realizing that I want to, and this is a little bit introspective for Paul. I feel like Trevor's going to be kind of nodding his head over here about this. But like I'm stuck between two things. One, I'm not good at thinking of creative new content. I'm just not good at it. I'm not very creative in that way. And so I'm better at like, oh, someone did this, like that looks cool, I'll probably do that too. Like I'm good at emulating or doing what other people are doing. I feel like Trevor's strength is actually coming up with ideas and content. Like you're pretty good at brainstorming that kind of stuff. And so you will often implement stuff, and like this format, for instance, you made the format. This is your original format, and like occasionally I'll go in and like change things or whatever, but mainly you have been doing it. Because I'm just not good at it. I don't know where to start or where to begin. And I'm realizing that I want to be more upfront about like, I feel like I'm pretty good live or on mic or whatever. Like I can flow with most things. I can make things up on the fly. That's more my strength. Whereas like prepping and planning new content is something that you're better at. So maybe, I don't know if you agree with that or not. That's just what I've kind of come to realize here. So I think kind of fitting into those roles where we both feel like we're contributing to the podcast, and one isn't contributing necessarily more than the other, which I definitely always have a fear that like, oh, Trevor's freaking, because you always are like doing stuff. You're like constantly, like you said, spinning plates. So I'm like, I can't keep up with that. He's got like stream team and merch and the podcast and my Major League Baseball, and he's streaming and he's making YouTube videos. It's like a lot. I'm like streaming.
Yeah, I need
videos.
a guy, by the way.
Maybe. So, yeah, it's anyway.
I'm
All
your
that
guy.
being, there you go. PM,
have a
your guy.
job.
And actually, speaking of PM, I think I don't know how PM feels about this, but I feel like we need to get him more involved as far as like booking people, or like kind of at like. I feel like we need to delegate maybe more to PM if he's willing to do that. Because I mean,
Oh, yeah.
realistically, editing the podcast takes from 5 seconds. It's not like a lot of like.
It's not a hard
labor.
thing for you. You're really
No.
good at it, and you're really fast.
Yeah.
But let's just throw this out here, just so everyone knows. PM is exclusively behind the Instagram and Twitter. Just
Also
all of
true.
that's him.
Also true. That's all him. Yeah.
And
I
it's
just want you to know
fully,
that.
like 99% of those ideas are his. I don't even know if Paul and I had even one of them yet.
If I respond to you, or if someone responds to you on the Twitter, it's from me. So I just want people to know that, like, before they get super excited thinking that Trevor or Paul did it. Like, maybe don't get as excited knowing it's just me, but
Oh, dude, don't peek out of the
From
behind
all
the
of us.
curtain, dude. Come on.
no. But I'm saying, like, I've had some people like get overly excited thinking that like they're talking to Trevor. And then they start asking like baseball stuff, and I'm like, dog, this is not. I'm not. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's not what this is.
Yeah, my immersion exactly ruined.
My immersion.
But yeah, I my long-winded answer to that is essentially I would like to get better at knowing everyone on the team's strengths and weaknesses, and like making sure everyone's okay with those. And if anyone feels like they're working too hard or not enough, that we address that. So that's something I want to take into season 2.
You could put everything on my shoulders, and I'm fine with it.
See,
Yeah,
that's what
seriously.
I'm talking.
Like-
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, I email people every other day about coming on the show. People like out of left field, so not like people that we could reach pretty easily, but like people that might be a little more difficult. Like, who's that Troy Baker dude? Like, let's not bring that up. But yeah, that guy, I would email him, and then 3 days later they'd be like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, okay.
Well,
At least they. I
Someone's
still
gotta
can't
shoot
do
the
that
shot.
very well. At least they can say no.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I think that come full circle. I just can't fucking say no to anything ever.
He's really bad at saying no to stuff.
I'm really bad. Actually, that kind of brings us to the if we want to just kind of loop this second part of this question, what would we be leaving behind? I think that what I want to be leaving behind is just constantly thinking like, okay, so who's the I got to figure out who the guest is, and then then the guy got to do the format and blah blah blah, and like I'll just immediately be like, I got to do all these things, and then put them on the list. When in reality, I could be like, yo, Paul, do you want to like come up with like a more try a new game format or something this week? Like, I could definitely ask the question, be like, oh yeah, like on Monday when we know who the guest is, and it's someone we both are familiar with, and you can come up with like a cool specific thing for them, or I don't know, whatever, something like that. Like just being like, yo guys, do you want to do this, and could you handle that? Like, are you cool with like taking care of that really quick? Because I don't even do it. Like, here's a prime example. Recently I'm like, man, I'm not posting like video or visual stuff enough on social media, and I'm watching other baseball players I know do a lot of baseball stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing enough stuff. I'm like, well, I gotta get on that. And then, but my default setting is, okay, now I gotta get it made. I gotta come up with the ideas, and I gotta do this. And I'm, in reality, the guy Freaky Ian, who does a lot of my graphic design stuff, I could literally be like, yo, I want something that looks kind of like this, and he'll just be like, okay, and he loves doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't think to be like, hey, here's what I would like to do. You want to run with this? And every time I've done that, he's like, all right, here's 6 different options. And then I have 6 different things to post about whatever. Like, he made me the Fall Guys, or no, that was Jester, but Jester's the same thing. Or Joker. Jester.
Yeah.
Jester is doing the video, and Joker's the editor. God, I always get them so mixed up.
Wait, Joker's editing a video for you?
No. Joker is editing your videos. He's the one that does video for you, and then Jester is the one that does graphic stuff for. Well, he does stuff for you too, right?
I was like, man, he's getting work. Yeah, he does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, we talk about this a lot on the pod. I like that we're talking about it. There's people out there that'll help do all that kind of stuff. So it's like that's one thing that like moving forward with the podcast, I think that just it's delegating. If anyone who works any sort of corporate job and has any sort of management role to their thing, this is like the hardest thing to learn all the time. People who can delegate well are rare. So that's kind of there's a lot of people involved with us that want to do stuff.
Exactly. We should make like some sort of list of all the people that have helped us somehow. And, like, post that. That'd be cool. Like this person did this. This person. I think it'd be cool. Or just like a list. I don't know. Next question. A growing list. Exactly. Next question. Anything to keep us going during the break? Keep us going. Oh boy. Maybe some 5-minute mini videos from PM of recaps or follow-ups with previous guests. So PM talked about this. We talked about it a couple months ago, I think, when we were talking about ending the season, what we're going to do. PM had some great ideas for this kind of content. You can share a little bit of that if you want.
Yeah. So I had just a couple things because I feel like, we definitely don't need to go stale for a month, but maybe weekly we do recaps. Or my big idea was like I could maybe do a small show where we bring someone completely out of the blue and you kind of do like a 10-minute interview. Or just something to like keep it going. I'm more on the side of we just take old stuff and kind of recycle it a little bit, but I do understand that that's not really going to please a lot of people. So I guess it's still a work in progress, and it's up to you guys too. So, but I'm honestly cool with whatever. I do think the idea of doing another 10-minute like sub show would be really cool, and you guys don't have to worry about any of it for like a month or so, or however long this is going to go on for. But again, it's the matter of who do we get on, sort of thing, and it seems more complicated than it actually sounds. So
true. Scheduling people to get on, and people that would be good on a podcast as well. I mean, I don't know.
A lot of people I see on the Twitter stuff be like, hey, interview me. And like, trust me, we want to make this everything. But like Trevor did harp on this beginning, like in the beginning, like you have to have a story. Like, and I feel like, like
this thing. It's not, we're not just shooting shit. Like a lot of people are shooting shit podcasts. We kind of do, but we also want to learn about the person.
Like we want to know what it took to get where you're at. If you're like a Fortnite guy for a year and a half, it's like, okay. Like what, like, like it kind of hampers us to be a better podcast if you're not really coming in with anything. Like I'm not trying to judge anybody here, but I feel like you have to set a standard at some point.
It's always telling a story is the model of it we come from. Absolutely right. If you don't have a story to tell, then it's what are we doing?
Or if the story doesn't fit into the format, that's more. Everyone's got a story. We understand that. We're not saying you're boring if you're not. Like we're just all we're saying is like it's people who are learning. Like Seth Drums is. I make jokes about him a lot, but like it's a prime example of kind of trying something, and then becoming, building a name kind of in another community, and then you're bringing them over to you, which is different.
Exactly.
And then figuring out a way to make it work. Like that's what he's still in the process of doing that, but you can see that he's gotten little slivers of success over time and seen things that just haven't worked and tried something else. Like that's the point. That's why we do this. That's why we meet people, because everyone has found some level of success that we've interviewed at, wherever they are in the spectrum now. And they've done it in different ways. And that is the point of the podcast, because we want people to like learn, first of all, how they are as people and have the funny moments and stuff, but also realize like where they came from and why, if you're starting, this is a resource for you. Like those are the two boxes we want to check when we do this.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a great summary of what we were looking for. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll definitely think of some good stuff. I'm sure PM has some good stuff too in the line. Like both of you guys are idea guys, and I fully trust you. You're both idea men, which is helpful.
I'm an idea guy. You got to get, what is it? What is that from Wedding Crashers? He's like, I'm an idea guy. You got to give me stuff to work with.
Oh yeah. I'm an idea man. Yeah.
I don't remember the exact. I can't remember the exact quote because the movie was made 14 years ago, but it was great.
So good.
I actually was just like, I thought a cool little format would be checking in, like getting video from a recent clip from a guest on like of them doing something that they had talked about on the podcast. For example, like getting some sort of hilarious 30-second to a minute video of Milton as Kiki and just like be like, okay, this is what we were talking about for anyone who didn't, like literally giving them the content that we were talking about, like directly from us, with their permission.
Yeah,
obviously, or just
that's a good point, because we actually we need to do a better job, I think, of season 2 as well, of like recognizing that not everyone that listens to the podcast knows who we are, knows our people, knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We reference a good amount of things without actually saying what they are. So I think it would be helpful. Yeah. I mean, how many things? Oh my gosh, how many things was freaking Marcel talking about? Like the balloon animals, all this stuff, like animals. Videos.
Yes.
That we
balloon animals. The fact that they grew on Gary's mod, and everyone's like, "What the hell is Gary's mod?" Exactly. No one's seen any of those videos because they're so old and they're from all those guys. But you could go way back with like Vanoss and see when he had 1 million instead of 27 million, subs and find his stuff,
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I love that. I will take the next one, even though it's definitely teed up for you. And I paused long enough for you to get it. Unbelievable, Trevor. Stay on top of it. God,
you teed it up? Oh, I thought you were literally going.
Twice.
Are you going to have merch for season 2? Average Siege asked that, and the next question as well. But are you going to have merch for season 2? We want to have the end of season 1 merch happen in the next month. So merch means the very, very basic stuff in terms of like, we want to do that, the cool shirt. And we actually might do a actual, like official competition to design that. I think that'd be cool. I think we can give them something. The shirt.
The band shirt.
The band shirt.
Oh, I thought we had a pretty good template for that.
I like that. I like that one too. And maybe that's the way we go. But or even just like spin off the logo or something that can be turned into quote unquote stickers or like mugs. Like I think stickers are a great thing for podcasts because podcasts are a thing that people like, but it's not like you freaking rep it 24/7. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, this pod comes out once a week and it's my whole life. And you're like, what? I get streamer shirts because you can watch them every day. But like, if you're listening to the 2-hour podcast and then you just sit and wait for the next one, like nobody's that excited about it. So, but having like a sticker on your laptop, like that's enough, or a sticker somewhere in your stream room or something.
Yeah,
or
t-shirt and a sticker would be dope. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe a mug. I don't know. You can make a cool mug, maybe.
I mean, only reason I said that is because usually when there's stickers available in whatever service you're using, mugs are just like a no-brainer. Might as well make them available.
So the answer, I think, is yes. I actually am like, I'm going to be talking to a good friend of mine who makes really, really, really dope designs. I'm going to throw the podcast his way, and I think he's going to freaking run with it. So I'm actually pretty pumped about some possibilities for designs that we could even do. Really excited. I think it could be good. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes. You'll be able to purchase things.
Yes.
Forget.
Exactly. So, JPOG. I mean, not a terrible idea. So, next question, also from Average Seas. Will there be more ways to be featured on the pod as a listener? So, I think this kind of goes into what we're talking about as far as changing up the format a bit. I really do want to get more chat involvement. But the thing is, it's really going to come down to scheduling. If we can get these people ahead of time and know who's going to be on the pod a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, that gives us time to ask specific questions for those people, but also possibly to vet people as they come in. So this is where delegating comes in. I think getting a mod or PM.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it. Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, put them in the guest waiting, and then I can be like, all right, tell me what you want to ask, yada yada yada. And then if they come in and they say something stupid, gone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we have a question come in from whoever, like ask your question type of thing. So I think that's perfect. I think that's a great idea. I would love to do that, but I think again it comes down to like we have to know who's going to be here ahead of time because we were playing catch up a lot of the season, if you guys couldn't tell, and it was difficult to like change anything. When you're just trying to get the guest on, changing the format is like extra stress for no reason. It's like just keep the format. It's a good format. Let's just run with it.
Yeah, that's kind of why, back to the first question. That's kind of why, or second question, I guess. That's kind of one of the things. Just getting ahead of that will allow us to take more chances there. And I think another couple ways that just off the top of my head, when we do another one of these, have people record the questions and send them. Like literally, so we're playing your voice on the show and that people can hear you, and then that way with the questions already vetted, and we don't have to play it if it's not a good one, right? So
that's true. Yeah, we could have a whole audio submission area. That'd be great.
I do like that.
Audio to submission, you could do, and then we could like, I don't know, we could do people where we could do a game where we need audio submissions from people. I don't know how that would work, but like once you do audio submissions and get the system set up, like you could do all kinds of stuff. And I think getting people involved that way is the best. I think that in content creation, like involving communities, like, you know, you look at like the Fortnite fashion shows and the, you know, open Minecraft servers where you're like, this is open for, you know, 1 hour. Everyone get in here, and you just log in. There's 200 people, and you're running around, and you're like, that kind of stuff makes great videos and great content. So I mean, you can. I think that's what we do. So we should factor that into the podcast.
This does kind of bring something up that I want to say, like, because I do like the idea of getting people to almost like phone in. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like you have like someone like, oh yeah, let's go to the phone lines, and it's basically a pre-recorded question. But it reminds me, I really like, because of the past question on what you want to improve. I really want to improve the live aspect of the show. Like I feel production. I feel like as much as, you know, as good as you look, you know, full cam, we could do way more with it. And I know that. I just think because every week we were scrambling to find people, we haven't had the time to like really build it. And now that I have this time coming up, I can sit here every day and actually build this thing. And I think that's going to be really beneficial.
Oh yeah, we could. I mean, dude, I'm actually pretty pumped. The whole idea of like a live production with like either vMix or whatever, it doesn't really matter. One of those, we could be so fun. It'd be so fun to see everyone's reaction live, like to watch it, even myself. It'd be great.
Yeah, and all I would do back here is hook up a drum pad kind of thing to where I can program certain scenes and just press a button, and it'll kind of go back and forth. It'll cut out the editing aspect after too, so the videos will go up even quicker, and it just would make things so much smoother. But again, it's that setting up the whole process that's going to take me a while to kind of learn.
Yeah, so I'm actually really pumped about the break. I mean, obviously it's nice to have a break, but I think that we could pour so much more into this content-wise, value-wise, that actually gets me pretty jacked up. So I love that. Yeah.
The Zoom call format and having you be able to like produce the show, I mean, would be.
But do it like the professional way, not like we're sitting on a couch with a MacBook Pro and some AirPods. Like, you know, try to actually make it look like it's legit. And
exactly.
How to do that without spending, you know, buku bucks.
It's really not going to be hard.
I don't think so.
It's not like I've been involved with a few projects now, like with MLB The Show League and stuff, on how we called in and did, or how we dialed in and did, like basically sent our streams to one master stream, and then that person got to control everything from the where we were on the, like all that stuff. Yeah, so like I could push my stream to my own channel with my own overlay, but then my camera was also being pushed to another stream, and then he just grabbed it and then moved it around. Like that's all possible.
I mean, I've also flirted with the idea of just making its own channel, and then you guys and I just push your streams to the channel, and then I can control that channel. So you guys can still go live on your own end, but I have access to your video, and so I'm here looking at the channel, making sure scenes are switching and full cams are going up and everything like that. That way I'm not messing with you guys. And I feel like that's an easy way to do it.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it could be as simple as, not as simple as necessarily, but to all the weird quirks and stuff that those shows had, I was on with the Chasing the Crown. I mean, it seems like a pretty awesome product, that vMix. Like you're able to produce everyone. That was all done remotely.
That's what we used to. Yeah.
Incredible. Super, super easy to use. Great transitions. But anyway, love that. Great question. What's our next one? What do we got here?
Who was the one guest you learned the most about that was on the show? That is
Tribe Fan.
This is from Tribe Fan. Yes, they're an Indians fan. We've made that very clear over the years here.
That's such a hard question to answer.
I mean, we can go with the most Milton. Like, I know nothing about all that stuff. Are you kidding me?
That's a good point. Milton,
he was in the Canadian military and freaking did a thesis on whether or not sand dunes are moving into the ocean, and then he had a side gig as injecting steroids into his friends.
Yeah,
think about that. Think about how absolutely fucking ridiculous that life was.
His life was nuts.
It is still currently because he wants to go back, right, and get or finish his
he
master's.
does.
So
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. This guy's
People who I
mind-boggling.
feel like I learned the most about that just come to mind instantly. This isn't like everyone, obviously, because we have 40, some odd episodes. I learned a lot about Jordan Fisher. I learned a lot about Squatting Dog. I learned a lot about Sancho West.
Tom.
Yeah, learned a lot about Tom. One Shot Girl had a decent amount to say as well about her and Wall Street and all that stuff. Like, that was nuts. I think that's, I mean, obviously, like you said, Milton. Just, I loved when our guests got into their lives. Like, that was my, freaking Marcel, obviously, the balloon animals. Like, that is what I'm pumped about. I want to know about your life, where you came from. When people would like skip stuff, I was like, why are you doing that? Like, I want to know, like, what happened in that time segment. You probably think it's boring, but it's super interesting to us, and I think our listeners as well, when they want to talk about like what happened. They're like, yeah, I was going to college and then I started working. I'm like, whoa, what did you go to college for? Like, back up. So stuff like that, I just love.
And I also love when a guest comes on and they've listened to a couple just to get the format understood, and then what they do is then, like Milton, for example, came in so hot. He's like, I know all the stuff I'm going to talk about.
Yes,
like, he was just waiting with ammunition ready to go, and we've had several people do that where they came in there like, all right, I was expecting this question, and here's my long, awesome, in-depth answer about it. Like,
exactly.
That was great.
Actually got me jacked up. You said ammunition. That got me jacked up to have Ann on the pod next.
Gotta have Ann on the pod.
I want to hear her story. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm pumped for season 2. It's gonna be so good. That was a great question. That was great. It was a difficult one, but man, I just in general, like, if anyone of our future guests is listening to this podcast, do not leave stuff out. If I feel like the pod is taking too long, we will cut stuff, or we will skip questions, or I will cut you off if it needs to be, but it very rarely needs to happen. Talk about your life. Also, freaking King Richard. All about his life as a kid and everything.
I was just gonna say that,
bro. Just his growing up in Philly, it was amazing. So that kind of stuff, I absolutely love. That you cannot capture. That's what I love about the pod too. Is like, obviously there's a couple of pods that are similar to ours, but you're not going to get this info in an article. Like, it's just no one's interviewing streamers that I know of to this degree. Like, how are you going to find out someone's favorite fast food and also when they decided to go full-time streaming? Like, you're not going to find that out anywhere. Here, May Contain Action podcast.
Here.
That was a good ad. Exclusively the May Contain Action podcast. Excellent questions. Bruiser, average, Prestige, and Tribe fan. Outstanding. But now, it is time for the final ad read of the season. I'm going to take some liberties with this one. We'll see how it goes. Are you guys bored at your house? Just sitting around? It's hot out. Some of you guys are still in quarantine, hopefully. You play with your balls, dude? Sitting there watching your 18th episode of Tiger King, just playing with your balls. Our sponsor, Manscaped, is here to tell you that your balls could be smooth as eggs. You would consider using their Lawnmower 3.0. Probably looking for new things to do instead of playing with your balls. Why not make grooming your balls a part of your routine? Manscaped is forever changing the game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The kit comes with a new improved Lawnmower 3.0, which again is waterproof. Says it right there. Not water resistant. Proof, baby. The cordless trimmer. You also get other liquid formulations to spray on your ball sack to make it smell like sweet, sweet roses, or a rough, rugged leather strap on the back of an old stallion from 1312. Third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. Not only does Manscaped obsess over technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience, they also use the best ingredients And there are ball sprays, ball deodorants, ball lotions. Inside the perfect package, you also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver, one of those formulations. Like I said, the ball deodorant and the anti-chafing moisturizer. Probably sitting on the couch with your hand on your balls anyway, bro. If you're listening to this, hopefully you're just sitting there, hand on balls, listening to this ad. Make them smooth as eggs and smelling like sweet, sweet pine oil. Subscribe to the Perfect Package 3.0. Get a newer replacement blade for your lawnmower delivered to your house every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. For a limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, which I use every time I travel. It's fantastic. It's leather. It's black. It's got a nice big zipper on it. It's clean as hell. And the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxers, which I also use on a regular basis, are also very comfortable. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. If they won't tell you, I will. It's perfect. Look at me. It's perfect. Love everybody. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use code MCA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. MCA is the code. Don't forget it. No, your balls won't.
Boom. Jesus.
God! Freaking get Manscaped. Hire me.
That was the most.
I feel like you needed Independent Day music back there. Like you needed something cinematic behind that.
I needed music to swell in the background. That's what I needed.
It's that scene when God, what's his name? What's the guy?
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday.
That one, there's that, but then he's when the guy's flying the plane, he's like, "Hey boys, I'm back." That part.
Oh yeah.
When he's,
oh yeah.
What's the actor's name?
I can't remember his name.
Oh God, what's his name? He's hilarious.
I think he's a comedian. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Uncle Eddie from
Uncle Eddie.
Family Vacation.
God,
But
so good.
that.
We will not go quietly into the night.
Yes.
We will live on. We will
And
survive.
PM is working on the clip for Twitter right now.
Literally, I'm building it.
Literally making it right now. Outstanding.
That's awesome.
Last ad read of season 1. Look at that.
Last ad read, and I'm fairly sure that Manscaped will be in season 2. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Feeling good about that. Anyone else out there too want to hop on the old train because it's it's said leaving the station again.
LaCroix, huh? LaCroix, maybe
seltzer.
Yeah,
Promise we won't talk about alcoholic seltzer. We'll just talk about non-alcoholic seltzer.
Yeah, I mean,
Astra. Okay.
Oh
boy, it was a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
You know, it'd be sick. We got like a Shure sponsorship, dude. We already use them.
Oh yeah, they are the industry standard. Every single video for a podcast I see anywhere is like
it's always got
Shure. SMB.
It's just the best money.
FM7B.
It's just the best. Awesome. Nicely done.
Cool.
Guest specific question.
It's not really a guest specific question. It's just a current event, guys. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this because it really was a video game and cultural phenomenon beyond like not beyond. It was akin to Drake playing with Ninja. Like
it was big news. Yeah.
It was incredible. And Tim the Tatman not winning a game of Fall Guys and Fall Guys becoming what it's become is absolutely just no one saw it, came out of nowhere. And the tension built up to him winning a game was I know we know Tim pretty well now, and you really know Tim really, 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 really well. That he was okay with not winning for a while, but at the end there, he really wanted just to be like, he really wanted to stop being told he's the worst. He's like, I understand this is good for the channel and good for the brand, but like, I have to win. Like this has to end some point. The longer I drag this out, then it's just sad.
He almost broke his hand.
Did he?
Yeah, and almost like fainted. Like he slammed the desk so hard, and he goes, "I think I broke my hand," and stood up, and he goes, "I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna faint." And he's like literally like leaning over. Like that's how mad he was.
Back me out. Like that's the most like from the soul. Like I can't end this like this. And And then Nate Shot went full like professional Call of Duty player, like hype man, like we got this, you got this.
Yeah.
And Lando was just trying not to confuse him. Like he was just like, I'm just gonna be quiet, just hype him up as soon as like I don't want to be the one that ruins this. But that the edit of that video of the bar is
the video of the bar.
So the video of the bar in England where it's like for us, it's actually for us from a World Cup match, but everyone keeps editing the video up. Dude, it gets me every time. It's such a representation of like how the chat was.
Oh my god!
Have you seen the one where like the DVD thing bounces and then like it hits the corner and everyone freaks out?
Yes,
one of the best ones ever.
Oh
it's
god,
so good.
And then they got his audio in there too. He's like, you said it could happen, and they're all just like losing their minds.
Did you see the one where he's wrestling and they use the super surprised guy? Have you seen that one? And they dub the faces on. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like the classic surprise. It's like the WWE surprised meme guy who's just like staring ahead.
Yeah, and it's because he gets the upset victory, and then the guy's just like looking with the glasses, and it's Fall Guys. They're like,
"Oh, Fall Guys on his chest." Like, oh no, he won. It's amazing. The memes that have come out of this are absolutely outstanding.
30 for 30.
But you're right. Like he got a freaking ESPN article out of it.
Yeah,
like that's nuts. It's been insane.
He did it, not hashtag. He did it. He did it was trending worldwide. Just the words he did
worldwide.
it. You didn't see that on Twitter? Literally, he won. There was 100,000 tweets that said he did it.
My mom even texted me. That was like, did Tim do it?
Your mom texted you about it?
Because she saw he did it was trending.
He did it was number one worldwide for like literally the words he did it. That's fucking crazy.
He had, I think he said his highest was over 300,000 viewers.
It was like 346,000 peak, and when he got it, it was like 240K.
That is insane. 347,000. Well over 250,000 people were watching him. At least that's just individual devices. That's not people. It could have easily been 500,000 people watching him do that. That blows my freaking mind. And like, I don't even know where it came from. It feels like it came out of nowhere. Like I told Tim last night, I was like, where have these viewers been? Who are all these people? Where'd they come from?
Well, you know what he did? He's literally like, you and I were doing it there. Like we're playing, and we had a quarter of the viewers we had. It was like the point where I was like, hey, I might just turn off stream so I can watch Tim.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was definitely like siphoned off. Yes. Everyone
was watching him. Everybody. Yeah. It wasn't about the game. It wasn't about the person. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about anything. It was just about like, this is what's happening. Something crazy's happening. We all have to watch it. Glued to our television screens.
Like even Vegas put odds on it.
What?
Yeah, for the day.
Vegas put odds. Whether or not he get it that day or not.
That's
nuts. Dude. When he's like, hey, I think I'm getting stream sniped, and they're like, no, I think you're just like, there's a few, but there's not that many. That game, 10 people grabbed him immediately to where he couldn't get off the starting line.
Yeah, exactly. He couldn't
like, do you see this? Oh, it was so funny. And then the guy was like hiding behind the wall and like popped out and grabbed him. Oh God, it's like going through a haunted house where everyone knows who you are.
It was, and then so you have this huge explosion of interest in not only Fall Guys. And Fall Guys, I mean, let me just say, their intern running the Twitter freaking deserves 10 raises. That guy killed it. He absolutely was a meme lord. He killed the Twitter social media game, and just like it was just this back and forth of like, wow, this is a really good decision. Outstanding. And then they kept it going today, just playing with Lupo. And now it's like they're building hype around Lupo, and Lupo's like the what do they call him? The fallen one.
The fallen one. Yeah.
The fallen one.
He got like 60 wins. Yeah.
And somehow he's quote unquote statistically the best, which they haven't shown any statistics or even said what that means. Like, what does that mean? He's the best at qualifying. He's got the most wins per games. Like, what is that? Because in my mind, Wavy, friend of the pod, Wavy is the best. Wavy has got to be over 100 wins by this point. He's the best Fall Guy player that I've ever seen. He like memes at this point. He's so good. He's like Ninja. When Ninja used to do trap kills, remember when trap kills were a big deal? He would like 1v1 and just only use traps to kill people. That's Wavy right now. He's nuts.
He's so good with a controller.
He's so good. This game was made for him. This is the perfect game for Wavy. So I don't understand how he's statistically the best. I'm not saying he isn't, but he's got a custom skin. He's got the only skin out right now, like this portal skin. And now they're keeping it going with Lupo. So I think their social media team is smart.
Yeah, that's the way and they're gonna have to do updates like crazy with new games. But there's just like they're so simple. Like they could easy. Just it doesn't have to be seasonal. It doesn't have to be anything. They could just throw a new game and try it out whenever they want. If I said this, if they come out with some sort of like, even if it's offline, some sort of like board game style where it's 10 rounds where you play, just like Mario Party. If they did that, I don't know what, like it would just change the game. Like it would change everything. If they just came out with a board game style, came up with some maps just as for fun, you can make it just so 8 people could play together, or they could make it so it's online and there's some sort of goofy ranking system. Dude, it would be insanity. It'd be so fun.
Someone in chat said it's really smart and true, is like they know that to build hype around their game, it needs to be more than just the game. It needs to be a story, which was very true. You're building a story around the game, and that's what's building hype around it. People care about a story. Like Tim not winning is a story. Lupo being statistically the best and getting like the skit, like that's a story.
Yeah, and it's not just a story within the game only now. It's the stories built around playing the game, which is the community exponent. That's what's grown gaming so much. It's the community around it. And actually I'm watching, this is random, but I'm watching the Netflix documentary series High Score.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I want to watch that. Yeah.
And they are talking about how important it is to create stories around the game, and then how that's gone from like, this game's hard to how the idea of the high score made them addictive and made arcades so popular. The idea of being the highest score in your arcade, being the person in that area with the highest score, that made people come back. But then the games were too easy to beat. Like once because they're all they were so simple. Programming, they were easy to beat. So then there was like this other group that like started to make kits that made them harder, and then that exploded, like updates. That exploded the idea of updates before the internet. So that's kind of where we are. It's the same premise, but it's just like, this is a prime example. They did it through social media. They got people obsessed with this game that they weren't even playing in order to root for their favorite. Like that's the idea behind sports. That's the idea behind sports, are all built around stories, underdogs, blah, 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 blah. It's all about stories, and streaming, live playing of games creates those stories, and people that create the stories best are the best streamers.
That's really, I think that's it. I think you could probably boil down like long lasting successful entertainment to story making. That's all. We're suckers for stories. We like Rise, we like Fall, we like Redemption, we like all that stuff. It's just always a story that we like. I'm just thinking of The Last Dance. It's all story, right? Like we were glued to that. It already happened. We knew it happened. We knew he won 6, but man, we were invested in the story of how he won 6.
We all wanted to know about Dennis Rodman being in Vegas for 3 weeks.
Also, and we also wanted to know how much he was betting on golf games or tic-tac-toe. It's freaking nuts.
Or Timmy Tatman and Fall Guys.
Timmy Tatman and Fall Guys. There's like, I just kind of, brainstorming again, because that's kind of where I like to go. Yeah. Even in baseball, like people are like, yo, you came back in that game, and or these relievers went out and did great. And then if you're like in the bullpen, you're like, hey, just so you know, this guy, like, I have a story, for example, one time a closer of the team I was on, we were in a playoff race, and we were in the last series of the year, and we needed a sweep to like stay in the opportunity to make the playoffs. Yeah. And our closer at the time he was hurt before, and he'd come back recently, so he wasn't closing. He was like setting up, where he's pitching before the closer that we had when he was hurt.
Yeah.
And like he got up and there was some miscommunication. They called like, "Hey, can you get up and get ready in one hitter?" And he's like trying to get warm fast. They called down like, "Are you ready to go in?" And he's like, "No, like I'm not ready. Like I need more time to get loose." And so like no, the fans don't know that any of that happened. Anyway, the starter went back out for another inning, gave up a double to start the inning. Long story short, the guy went in and didn't throw well, and the run scored, and we ended up losing the game. And it was like that kind of like drama that's happening, like, like people are like, "Oh crap, I didn't know any of that happened." But it's even better when you go, "Yeah, they called down, they told this person to get up, we heard that, he warmed up, and they didn't mean him, they meant me, and so I got like 4 pitches winning the game and shoved." Like people are like, "No way you didn't get a warm up." They didn't know you didn't get a warm up. They don't know that stuff. That stuff being told is like, people love it. They love it.
Yes.
Like, what? You didn't even know you were in the game until 5 minutes, before, and then you had to go in and like do your job, and you did it, and that's crazy, and that's an underdog story, and everyone loves that stuff.
Everyone
so like,
loves it.
It's like I'm trying to find ways to tell those stories.
Bro, it's why freaking How It's Made is still a show on the History Channel. It's still a show. It's saltwater taffy, and they're like, "Okay, cool, whatever. This is how you make it." What?
Jelly beans. Jelly beans are crazy.
Bro, How It's Made is like the most, and they don't have to update a thing. They got the same guy announcing, they got the same intro, they got the same outro, the same music. They don't give a shit. They haven't put any money into that thing, and they're like, "Frick, it's still season 97. How It's Made." Because people care. People want to know how things are done. You lose a game, whatever. They tell you how you lost the game. Oh my goodness, what happened?
Yeah, some crazy thing happened.
One of the best shows of all time. Anyway, that's the hype around Tim that has just been out of nowhere, and I feel like you can't see this stuff coming. Maybe you can. Maybe we're just not good at seeing it coming. But I didn't see over 300,000 people and a week-long Twitter battle and just mutual growth between Tim and Fall Guys. Even the YouTube videos. He showed me one of his YouTube videos had over 500,000 views in the first like 10 hours. Over 500,000. Like for him, that's a lot. That's a lot for him. That's nuts. That's like 300,000 views above his average in the first 10 hours. So that's just it's mind blowing. Good, specific, relevant question. Trevor,
yes, we're all thinking about it. Happened the last couple of days. I thought we discussed the idea behind how it happened. This is what the podcast is about. It's crazy that it happened, but at the same time, we're like not surprised either.
Exactly.
So
that's true. What is our next? Oh, hey, yeah, sub to the YouTube channel. By the way, sidebar. Sub to the YouTube channel, everyone. If you're listening to this, if you're watching on YouTube, I know a lot of people that watch the podcast on YouTube aren't subbed. Take this opportunity. Click the subscribe button. Ring the bell. Get notifications about when these videos go live. It's once a week. Sometimes and especially during season, in between season 2, we might upload extra content, especially to the social medias, but also to YouTube. So check it out. Also, shout out to PM for running the YouTube.
Great. PM runs YouTube.
Thank you. Yeah. I run everything.
All the content put out besides us talking is PM.
Yeah. So. Besides us being actually talking on the show, PM puts out the content. It's incredible. So great job, PM. Sub to the YouTube. That way we can get a unique URL and start making dozens of dollars off of it. So keep it going. All right. YouTube.com/ a bunch of letters and numbers we don't know. Just search May Contain Action.
Yes, we're working on it. We're almost there. We're getting pretty close to getting our own URL.
What do you need? Like 1,500? I can't remember what we need.
It's viewer hours. It's just about number of episodes. I think that I honestly think we might be there. We might just have to apply again or, whatever, activate it.
Yeah.
We need to check on there. Yeah.
YouTube Mondays, baby. Very excited. Next portion that I actually have an answer for this time, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think I may have said it before. It doesn't matter. Who have you been watching lately? Right? Who's on the side monitor? Who have you been peeping out? My pick, and for the last episode of the season, it isn't Jordan Fisher. It's actually Operator Drewski. I truly enjoy watching Operator Drewski on YouTube. Is the main place I consume his content. It's like the only place I consume his content. He plays a lot of Sims, so he's very much into mill sims, like Tarkov. So he plays Tarkov, which is how I got started watching him. Tarkov, frickin' I can't remember the names of these things because they're all like designations. There's like an DCS. He's DCS, like a flight simulator. He knows how to fly an A10 without actually flying an A10, which is freaking nuts. He does all these different things and provides really hilarious commentary while being really good at the game. And I watched like half-hour videos easily. What I'm surprised. I'm 20 minutes in. I'm like, I'm still watching this. This is nuts. But he just does such a good job of providing commentary over what he's playing in these milsims. I'm just really enjoying it. So he's Operator Drewski. That's DREWSKI. He's also on his way to getting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So he's pretty close.
Are you vacuuming?
Me? No, that's a truck backing up.
Okay. I was just making
outstanding.
Hey, you're outside my door. Stop it.
It's been backing up forever. Oh, it stopped. Fantastic. Operator Drewski, he's at Operator Drewski on Twitter as well. You can go follow him there. Again, just awesome content. Super down to earth, very nice guy. Always super positive on his stuff, and I would love to play Tarkov with him because I feel like we would just absolutely like annihilate servers. His comms are second to none. So that's who I'm watching recently. I have one. Trevor, who's yours?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Between last week and this week, the Tim the Tatman saga, I've just been glued to my screen when I wasn't streaming myself. Yeah, I couldn't not watch it. The rage, like he needs to do it. I'm sure it's in the works. I'm sure Steve's on top of it, probably editing it currently right this moment. Just the rage compilation from all the crazy stuff that's like the way he's choked has been insane. So I don't know. I'm like, I got to see how this ends. It's like watching. I had to. I was just absolutely locked in. So that Tim has been on the side. I mean, Lupo's always on the side. Mm-hmm. But we just invited 10 more people to Team Mayday. Those are going to be starting to get in rotation, probably on the road because of my inability to stream consistently while I'm on a long 10-day road trip, which this is our last long one of the year, which is great. So
wait, what's Team Mayday? What is that? You said
Team Mayday is my
Team
stream
Mayday.
team.
Sorry. Yes. Team Mayday.
Team Mayday. We just added 10 more. So we have 40 members.
Awesome.
Of the stream team. They're always like, there's always 5 or 6 people live right now. So, when I'm not live, those are usually being hosted or Paul, you, or I think you're being hosted currently, but those people are, they're out here grinding. They're out here doing their thing, and they're just collaborating a lot with each other too. So those guys are on there too. And going to season 2, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot more specific people to hype up and Team Mayday, but we can just search that and you see the list, and it's below my stream too. It's my number 1 team. So if you're interested in that, check it out.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to shoot this one over to our lovely producer, PM. Who have you been watching lately, dude?
So no one in particular for streaming or YouTube, because the NBA is back and I've been consumed by it. And what I love the most is, besides the fact that I've gotten into sports betting, and that is not good. I will not put anyone in there, but I do love the fact that they have started playing games at 10 in the morning, because I sit here at work and I watch from 10 to 6, and I'm like, I am glued to them watching. And I mean, of course I have you guys on chat and I can interact with you guys, but I am glued to these games and I've never had more fun with the NBA right now. Like, the bubble they're doing is incredible. And I would ask that they do something like it in the future as far as scheduling, to like have games 10, 1, 3, and 6, but they probably won't. But I just think it's been awesome to watch.
I think the way they did it compared to the MLB, I think is smart in that maybe it's, I don't know. Trevor, obviously you can tell me what you would probably prefer, but like, I feel like it would suck to do what you're doing in traveling. Like, it seems unnecessary. You only travel for fans. That would be the only point in physically traveling from one place to another, is because not everyone can afford to go to the same location for a game in one place in the year. So to have a bubble and just play all these games in this area, I think is smart. It's more relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to do a spring training situation, because of the nature of baseball, we just need more time, more space, more. Yeah. We have more people. There's just more of everything. So like, you just need a lot of facilities to do what we do, as opposed to basketball. Like, they have courts set up in ballrooms and hotels. Like, we can't do that. Right?
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah.
So they can do everything on the court there, and then just like lift in the weight room in the hotel. Like that's kind of what they're doing.
And it's easier for these guys. I mean, I know speaking for me, I played traveling AAU, and like these people have been used to these kind of environments. You know, whether they just play in the most random of areas at random times of day, like they're more used to it than other athletes are.
Yeah.
Could you not have a situation where, I mean, I've even done it for like travel leagues as a kid, right? Like you just have a location. I mean, even for spring training as well, where you have like 10 baseball fields in an area. Like you could theoretically do that and have everyone in an area like in Florida somewhere. I'm sure that exists.
We could do it. We could do it and play. But like the problem and the biggest thing about that is the media built around the way our TV contracts and stuff are built is just completely different than NBA as well. So like NBA games are always on national, like basically.
Yeah.
There's like no blackout games. There's not games every day. We have blackout games because there's so many games every day. But it's regionalized, and that's just our TV contracts are structured completely different, and that's where it's just huge amounts of money. So like they're just not gonna that's just not gonna change either. So changing, like getting, for example, if we were all to be in Florida, getting Fox Sports North, who does our games, to like put a bunch of resources into get broadcasting the games from Florida, they would have to move so many assets and people, and it's just it's crazy the amount of money it costs to do that. So they don't want to. Basically.
I see.
So, and that we play every games every day, and you couldn't like stadiums that are equipped to do that stuff. There's just not enough to do that and have that many teams. So we'd have to go Florida and Arizona. And so that's why our bubble thing just didn't work. And then Arizona's like, it's unplayable there in the middle of the summer. Like it's just unplayable. Like it's 120. Like what? That's how?
Yeah, no.
You can't even breathe. Like what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, and we're major leaguers. So they're like, you know, we can't just like get guys super dehydrated and then have everyone just cramping and pulling hammies left, right, and center and just getting hurt because it's hot. So
I think that more than highlights, I mean, there's a lot of issues with every major league team or major team, but like that sounds like limitation after limitation that they've built into the system. Like just shorten the amount of games. I don't know how this like
again, like
happens.
I said,
like
it's based on number of games, the money that made from TV. So they can't. Like they're just not going to. It's always going to go up. The number of games is always going to go up and never going to go down.
Where does it like? But where does like the buck stop? Like who is the ultimate decision behind like that? Because if you shorten the amount of games, you could just increase. You would increase viewership on each game, which would increase ad revenue for those games. Here's
a really interesting. I need you to know how the brain trust works in people owning. They don't. We don't. We don't preemptively do anything. We don't make anything say, hey, we don't let baseball hates making money on the back end, like being like, oh, if we do this, it will increase in this area. That's not good enough for them. They need everything to be paid up front. They need to know exactly what events are going to make money within a reasonable like range of number of viewers. And they need to know that it's just we always react. We never are proactive ever on anything. Baseball isn't. We're just super, and that's just the traditional way that we run things. But also, it's just the business model has been set up to where changing things is scary as hell because the amount of money that teams are making is still going up. So why would they change anything, even if it makes the game work better or bring in younger fans? Because technically, the way that they make money is still being lucrative and becoming more lucrative. So why would you change things, even though logic dictates that eventually that's just going to dry up, and it's going to dry up in a big way? But that's not the way that we're going to. So like, for example, here's a really, this ties into streaming too. The way media is handled in the NBA versus the MLB. NBA it's pretty much open. So like, you know, your average Joe can grab a clip off the MLB, whatever, and put it on Twitter immediately. Like immediately, those assets aren't like, people aren't afraid they're going to get sued. MLB has this thing called BAM, which is like internal collection of all the media built around baseball, and you have to have express written consent to use it, and it's not available right away. So like, people are still grabbing clips and stuff and making their own content around it. It's just so much more restricted, and there's so much less stuff to use that it's just like not. So like, guy does something crazy in a game, you're going to see it on MLB's Twitter, but you're not going to see it. Like, people aren't going to be like, making memes about it and stuff immediately, like they do with Steph Curry making a between the, breaking someone's ankles, and immediately like there's 95 million videos on NBA Twitter. It's just not the way it is, and they're not opening it up because in order to have access to that, you have to pay a subscription. So everything is just subscription. Like pay us up front to have access to things. That's what they want. So like TV, you have to buy the TV package. The media, bam, you have to buy in and be an approved source. And it's just kind of like they make it up as they go. And so this is kind of something players are railing against a little bit too, being like we're super traditional. There's super strict uniform codes and cleat codes already. And then they're like, yeah, and also we want control of all media built around the game during the game and in the stadiums. Like we need to own it. We need to have rights to it. And that's just not how the world's going to work anymore. And it doesn't work like that already.
It doesn't work like that.
And kids are like, oh, well, then I don't care. If I can't get this immediately, then I don't care. And that's the problem. They don't care. And they're not getting access to they're getting super produced, they're getting super produced videos of Mike Trout doing interviews and stuff, but like they don't care about that. What they want is like him on his own phone being like, yo, what's up? I'm in the clubhouse. This is what it looks like.
Exactly.
And we can technically do that, but they can also technically tell us to not do it.
I was just about to ask because there's an NBA player who's now like incredibly YouTube famous, Matisse Thybulle, and his whole YouTube blew up. I think he has under 1 million subscribers just because he filmed a vlog in the bubble. And like it got me thinking, even if you did that in baseball, would baseball just be like, stop it, you're done?
No, I mean, no, they wouldn't, but they do restrict. They can restrict a lot of stuff. They can any direction they want. And that's kind of the problem. And not only that, the way it's set up, like we don't have right now, especially in COVID, we have no freedom. So like, I'm going to be what? I'm like, this is my hotel room. I'm stuck in here. And I also can't hang out with my teammates. So I'm like,
oh, you can't?
Yeah, we're not supposed to go to their rooms and stuff. We're supposed to hang out in our own rooms. We're like on lockdown. Just because if someone has it, then we're just unnecessarily creating contact. Like then they can just blame it on us. So this is the dynamic we have. Like this is the nature of all this. There's all this stuff that they want, right? And there's stuff that we want, and so we're about to go into a CBA negotiation, and we have to find a way to do it. But things are not like the guard is changing here on kind of how people consume sport and consume things that they like to watch, and we are just not. I mean, the media, and I don't blame anyone in media and MLB, like they're just doing their jobs. It's the higher ups that don't fully understand. Like, for example, they're like, we need to shorten games so kids watch it. That's not based on reality. It's based on like a consumer report that they had some old person, that runs a consumer report company give them an official report that they would have done in 1999, which that's not how things. That's not the analytics that we look at anymore.
Think that would be effective? I'm just comparing this to like cricket, for instance.
No,
cricket did a bunch of experiments with the game and found like the sweet spot.
No,
really,
it won't. Like for example, the game is too long in general. Making pitchers pitch faster, like shaves 5 minutes off the game. The average MLB baseball game is shorter than the average NFL game. So explain that to me.
Longer.
Oh, it's crazy because there's one game a week and there's 7 games a week for us. There's like 15 games on every single night. Yeah. Viewership just isn't going to be the same. That's just doesn't make any sense.
So we circled back around to less games. We've circled back around to less games.
Exactly. We should probably have less games.
But people also illegally stream too more now. Like I've always hated the argument of like, oh, look at the ratings dip. It's like, dude, everyone's just going on sportsearch.net or wherever they go to find it. No one watches TV anymore. Like I have a full screen TV in my living room, but I sit here in front of my monitor and I watch the games.
Oh yeah.
I haven't turned on the TV in my office in Seattle in a year. So like it's for chat sometimes. That's it. So I'm just like nobody. I haven't paid for a TV subscription since I've owned my home for 4 years. So like, why would I do like I have to get the basic channel so I can watch the Seahawks every once in a while. That's it. I get literally the local Fox because we have it at $3 antenna because that's the only channel that I ever need live ever. And so
you know what too? Sorry, not to cut you off if you're going, but I think the NFL, I mean, obviously is one of the best at this, but you build hype around a day or a weekend. So everyone's hyped about this day rather than like MLB. Like you just have so many games, you can't get that hype, you can't get that excited. Like you're not gonna get that excited. And it's also, I think, too much to ask each team to have one game against each other. You have to have a series because it's like that's so much travel. It's insane. That's a lot of travel.
The thing is, this is the thing. Yes, they need to create hype around the day, and having fewer days helps there too. But the nature of the way we promote the sport isn't about like these players are going against these players. It's more about like this city and this city, or like it's just the old school way of thinking. And then we don't get to create. They greatly discourage, like our own, BM that we like. Trevor Bauer made a tweet about that was being like a guy, evidently Joe Kelly they said he threw at the Astros because the Astros freaking cheated, and we all know they just blatantly cheated and like ruined some people's jobs and lost their jobs, and a lot of people were struggling to pitch against them because they were cheating. And then all these guys, we don't know when they were cheating and when they weren't cheating, so I don't know whether or not to think they're good or not anymore, because suddenly now that we know they're cheating, they're not as good. They're not playing as well because they're not as confident. And then I got these same guys were like pimping homers and stuff. I don't know if they knew this pitch for that homer. How can you with a clear conscience go flex on the pitcher when you cheated? How can you do that? And I don't know when they were doing that, when they weren't. So like all that stuff pisses all the players off. We're mad about it, but they're part of our union. So we can't just be like, throw them out. Like that's just not the way it works.
Talk about it. And that's story suppression, which is what we've been talking about since the question about Tim the Tatman.
So that happened. Joe Kelly, who was on the Red Sox and lost to the Astros one year, and then was on the Dodgers and lost to the Astros. Mm-hmm. So like, or he wasn't on the team that lost to the Dodgers in the World Series, but he's on the Dodgers now. So they were playing him, and he like threw a slider and it went behind someone's head, and it was a slider. Like he was throwing a fastball. He was trying to hit him. So it was, but he was just like, and then he got out of the inning and he was like, oh, stop whining about getting thrown at you guys. Like he was just like, I'm tired of you. Like there was this whole thing. He got suspended for 8 games, which is the longest suspension ever, which is ridiculous. He didn't hit anybody, and it was a breaking ball. So he didn't actually hit anybody either. He just scared him. Yeah. And then he did like a sad face. And then of course we're like, yo, you can't be talking shit like that. And it's just like, dude, I understand. Like you can't just let people throw at people all day. I understand that. I get like where's the line there, but you also can't go so far the other way where you're just against them. So basically, yesterday Trevor Bauer had cleats made with Joe Kelly's face on them, and it says free Joe Kelly on his other cleats because he's just so tired of the Astros. Wow. Right. So he's trying to create this drama, and then the MLB said if you wear those cleats, you'll be thrown out of the game and fined. What? And you're just like, guys, you're taking way too much of a hardline stance on this. You just are. God. You can't be this far on their side. You cannot. And so he tries, and he's trying to get the whip up because he doesn't care. I mean, he creates drama. He does, but he does it on purpose. And then he tweeted at the guy who got technically thrown at, was upset about Joe Kelly. Tweeted at him after the game, like, "Hey man, just give me your address. I'll send you the cleats if you want them." Like trying to muster it up. In a realm of social media the MLB doesn't control, because he's like tired of them trying to take control of it all the time. Like they really do try to insert themselves constantly. MLB The Show League, they inserted themselves in that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they had to deal with Sony. To be honest, that's like I understand that's a business deal. Like they've given Sony the rights to the game, so like of course but if it had just a general commandeering feeling. Yes. When it was the players who had the idea and then executed it. So again, we got compensated, but it's not all about just getting front. That's how we think. Dude, they always think that just getting paid up front is enough, and it's not.
The MLB in general, like it just kind of sucks. Like the MLB is just not
the organization isn't
it's at.
They're not making decisions in an open, like, hey, let's try some new stuff way, which needs to happen. Some of the branding has gotten younger. The branding's gotten younger. In the branding department, they're doing that, but like in the access to media side, there's just a lack of understanding and a lack of like because they're making enough money doing it their way. And I can't fault that. They're making enough, but like the Tim the Tatman that whole idea right there, like that's something he didn't know was possible. Like the guy got 6,000 subs in like 10 minutes. Like when he won 6,000, just so everyone knows, that's 15 grand.
Yeah.
Like up front, like just, you know how people are like, I won a tournament, won $15,000. He just won a game, a public game, and was rewarded like that. So like that's the possibilities. I'm not saying that that's what we're going for. I'm just saying that's what's possible. Like things that you can't project are possible if you take some chances in content. So there are players that are going out of their way to like be like, hey, some of the stuff in our game is stupid, like unwritten rules are stupid. And I agree. A lot of them are stupid. I also like some unwritten rules because I think that it gives flavor to our game, and meaning like there's like people aren't just like being assholes left, right, and center, because there's a lot of opportunity, because there's no recourse. It's not football. We can't just hit a guy and shut him up. Like there's
exactly. There's
in basketball, there's not a guy like
more subtle.
We can't just dunk on a dude and shut him up. Like
it's subtle.
Pitching, you know, what like I have to punch him out. Like
there's nuance.
There's nuance, a lot more nuance, a lot less like direct combat between players. So like we have to be creative. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do. And it's nice to see players that are getting in on it, but like it's a battle that I'm starting to become more and more involved in because I'm doing this, and it all ties in. I have an understanding in the gaming world now, and you know, we're trying to, I don't know how we went there, but like,
how did we go there? Trevor, you were the freaking conductor. What do you mean?
My suggestion.
We went far.
For watching the NBA took us here.
Anyway, media. I mean, I thought it was just sneaky. You know, I think we got a lot of information there. Yeah.
We did. All your MLB fans are like, oh yeah, talk about it.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Yeah, well that's where we are. But you know, watch the game, please. Go Twins.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Twins.
All right, cool.
We really nailed it. PM, do you have something to add there at the end? Like you're coming through it? No? Okay.
I'm just saying. It went down the rabbit hole because I suggested I was sports betting like a degenerate over here, and
you
went down this rabbit hole. So
absolutely. Hope you lose your car. Well, that was like half May Contain Action, half Trevor May Baseball Podcast. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good ending. That was nice. Let's be honest. 90% of viewership are your fans anyway. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Come on. Well, our ending segment here, our finale, if you will, is what is next for the pod. And we obviously touched on this stuff, so I don't really think we need to really get too into it, rehash it. A lot of the stuff that's next for the podcast, we'd like to rework the format. That's something that we'd like to do. We'd like to get people booked and scheduled ahead of time, way in advance. We'd like to be able to, in the vein of changing the format, add some specific stuff on the fly. Like not on the fly, but like in advance, add some new content ideas, get you guys, our listeners, involved more is a pretty big one. And then also to have some sort of like merchandise around that. I think we need to switch that up. And when we do change our format, when we do change little things here and there per episode, that naturally produces new content, which is also something that we want to have. New content, new segments, whatever it may be. So once we do that, it'll make new content. And once we have all that, we can really invest in the community, which is what we want to do as well. Get the community involved more merch, more guest questions and things like that. I would say in a nutshell. That's just me. I don't know if PM or Trevor have any ideas for what's next for the pod, but that's
one last thing. I think people are, this is going to be probably a glaring question that we're going to be asked a lot on Twitter. When are we coming back?
Yes.
And to be honest, it's not set completely in stone, but I'm correct me if I'm wrong. We're looking at like a month.
Yeah, that's what I think our aim is.
4 or 5 weeks probably give us a time. That's the like my season ends in 1 month and 6 days from today. I think that going into the playoffs, I'll have a more idea. Like we have off days left, right, and center. So like starting up again is going to be much more possible. Be home more too, and it'll just be like week by week at that point. But like so if we need to if we say I make the playoffs and we're going through and we need to take like 1 or 2 extra weeks, like it's a good time to have it. And I think that coming back in the fall and just like coming in October, hot, where I have 4.5, 5 months straight to do season 2, like that's beautiful. I think that's a good time to do it. And then we have a lot of guests that a month of reaching out and just having those conversations with that we would like to try to get scheduled up going into the fall. Would be great too. And with quarantine hopefully winding down and people like feeling like they're more back to normal and they have their opportunities to like do stuff and have stuff to talk about and want to like do the show, like that would help too. So let's just think anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks probably in that range will be the time. And as soon as we know exactly when we're coming back, we'll know a couple weeks in advance and we'll hype the shit out of it and you'll know. Exactly.
Follow the pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else. YouTube. We'll announce it for sure. Love that. PM, anything that you would like to add? Anything you're looking forward to? What's next for the pod that you're pumped about?
Just improving production. I mean, I think it could always get better. The live thing I definitely want to do. Someone did mention in chat, and I think it's a really good idea. Maybe reaching out to Jen and seeing if me and her can do like a small sub show for the time being.
Love that.
And just put it on YouTube only. So not on the podcast page, make it just like a small separate thing that's still affiliated with it. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, just boosting any production and then putting out really high quality memes. That is my goal.
High quality memes.
High quality daily memes.
Awesome. So follow the Twitter and the Instagram just for that. If anything,
the memes. He's got good memes. He's got good memes. One of my favorite ones was the the Pharaoh and the vocal cords. We've now got one sound.
So
balls.
Your balls.
Balls. That was perfect. Well, guys, before we go, huge shout out to our review of the week. This is from Hussein H, who said, "I have never laughed so much. My face hurts."
That was the Milton episode, by the way.
Love that. I never laughed. Oh, I could have guessed easily. I've never laughed so much. My face hurts. That was one of that was just gold. That was our man. I have so many different episodes that are favorites for so many different reasons. Man, that was a good one. That was a highlight for sure. I love that. Thank you very much, Hussein H, for that fantastic review. Again, you guys can leave a review anywhere. We'll continue to be pouring through these reviews for our next episodes. We'll have to have a review for our first episode of season 2, so keep them coming. Give it 5 stars wherever you can. That helps us out a lot. Gets the podcast noticed. Leave a review as well. Also helps out, even if it's just a couple words. We literally just said, "I've never laughed so much. My face hurts." Perfect. Keep it coming. That's great. You don't have to write a paragraph to be a novelist. Just write something. This has been season 1 of the May Contain Action podcast. You can listen, as always, on all major carriers of podcasts, including Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, and you can watch the VOD on YouTube. 5-star ratings again. Leave a review wherever you can, and you may be on the next episode in season 2 of the May Contain Action podcast. Go follow us at May Contain Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which is run by our lovely producer, again, the PM. Trevor, give them your ats.
TrevMay65 on Instagram, and I am Trevor May everywhere else. Oh my God, that is so much easier. 41 episodes. Could have said it like
41 that. I'm gonna try it. You can find me on Instagram at ActionJaxonBTW, and you can find me at ActionJaxon on everything else.
Wow.
Do we just realize that our Instagrams are different than all of our other stuff?
Yep.
It took us 41 episodes.
Wow.
When I tagged you in the mass photo, I typed in IMT like 7 times, and I was like, why is he not showing up? And then I realized it was TrevMay65.
I cannot believe that finally happened. Incredible. Claps in the chat. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's get the frick out of here, dude. Season 1.
Season 1. It's a wrap. And cut.